this episode, we will celebrate not only the wonders of New Hampshire, but one of its unsung heroes.
Yeah, I'm up at Conway. Now I'm down in Manchester next to Adam Sandler.
All right, people. It's JMO again, and this is another installment in the Makro Racer series of videos I'm doing. This is probably my third time trying to record this one. Every time I do this particular video clip, then I go out and play with the machine a little bit more and learn some new stuff about it and what it does. So let's get into it. I showed you how to turn it on for the back part here over by the where the headphones plug in. I'm going to be running that adapter right now so that we don't get any sound out of it because it's going to be kind of squawky. And you see it goes through its little boot up cycle and everything starts out pretty. This little saturation icon you see here basically is telling us that even on this pie chart you can see it's all over the place, but the area that we're in, obviously there's a lot of EMI, fluorescent lights in the ceilings and whatnot.
We like to say what's up, guy. It's our way to say hi. In February it is good to know a plow guy. It is shaped like a key, also where I like to ski. Tell by my belt buckle that I'm most definitely from
So upon turning it on, first thing you'll notice is it comes up in the mode option for the menu, and you've got several different options here. All metal, which still gives you a VDI display number and will pinpoint with a depth reading, but for the most part it's just the deepest available option. But it's just all it does is make one continuous noise, which for this particular machine the noise will change in volume and pitch according to the size and depth of the target, but you're going to have to look at the numbers for potential targets. Then this is, upon turning it on, it opens up in the default two-tone mode. That means that besides the iron grunt below your discrimination level, everything is going to be in two tones, a mid-tone and a high tone, and that is all adjustable. I'll show you that in a second. Three-tone, same idea. More processing involved, less depth achieved, and then a preset beach mode, which I tried briefly on a beach hunt, and it works. So next option you have down here is gain. To select and adjust the gain from the standby point of the machine, just press the down arrow once, and you can see we're at 70 by default, and you can turn it up or down. Gain is the amount of power that your coil is sending into the ground, so you can adjust that. Threshold is available only in the all metal mode, so we go to all metal and you can see threshold starts off at 55. You can go up or down with that as well. That's the amount of background hum you're going to hear while in all metal mode. So basically in all metal mode there's a constant signal being sent and received at all times, and you can adjust your threshold so that you can hear either none of that feedback, a lot of that feedback, just on the edge of that, whatever you prefer. You can adjust it there. And the next option is ID filter. Sorry, we have to get back into two-tone because ID filter is not available in all metal mode. So two-tone, ID filter. This is your discrimination, your V-brake, whatever you want to call it. So in default mode for two-tone, it's at 10. So anything below 10 on the VDI reading is not going to make a sound at all. And in this mode, it puts your iron grunt, so to speak, from 10 to, I believe, 40 is the tone break. And then from 40 to 60 is a mid-tone. 41 to 60 is a mid-tone, I believe. 61 and higher is a high tone. And and that is not available in let's see, in three-tone mode. It's the same idea, but your brakes are different between your low tone, your mid tone, and your high tone. I don't know all of them, but it's pretty easy to figure out. When it makes a high pitch or mid tone, you know, you're a little bit higher up on the VDI scale. So that's ID filter. Tracking is either 0 is off, 1 is on. You can see it says tracking right here. That will stay there even when we go back into our standby procedure. Alright, sorry about that. Had to take a phone call. Work, you know. So, where were we? Oh yeah, in three-tone, your tones are going to break at different spots, obviously. So let's stay with two-tone for now. That's where I've been hunting. And we've gone through tracking. 1 is on, 0 is off. With it on, basically as you swing, if you're in a pretty quiet area where the biggest change you're going to have is in the basic composition of your soil, then you should probably be in tracking. That way it'll fine-tune itself as you go. But if you're in a somewhat trashy area where there's lots of targets or heavy iron, those types of things, lots of hot rocks, you probably don't want to have your tracking on for the simple fact that it's going to take an average sampling of the ground signals. And if you've got a lot of targets in there, it's going to throw the average way off. So I suggest leaving the tracking off, and you can manually ground balance, and that'll be in a different video. Frequency shift is basically, there's 5 different options, and it's a 14 kilohertz machine, and 14 kilohertz would be right here at the number 3. And if you are having a lot of chatter or EMI, other people real close to you hunting in a similar frequency, and it's really, you know, bothering your machine, you can go to audio to frequency shift and basically change your channel that you're on, okay, up or down, and it shifts the frequency a little bit. If you do have to do that, I recommend you reground balancing just to be safe. Okay, audio tone. Again, there's 5 options here as well. This is only for two-tone mode. If we go to three-tone, you can see it skips right over audio tone. So only in two-tone mode will audio tone be an option. And this is the pitch of the sound coming from the high tone on the machine. And because the three-tone uses 3 different sounds, they eliminated the option of changing anything. So in two-tone, you can change how high your high tone is. So that's pretty good. Vibration. There's a vibration motor in here. There's several settings for the vibration. And basically, 0 is off and 1 through 5. It's going to act a lot like the vibration motor in your pinpointer that has proximity settings for it. So the closer you are to the target, the more rapidly the pulse of the vibration is going to be. And again, you've got 5 different sensitivity settings for that as well. That's really handy for individuals who are hearing impaired, because, I mean, if you can see the numbers, it's got great big numbers, and it's got the backlight, which I'll go over in a second. Basically, if you're hearing impaired and you're looking to pick up this machine because of the vibration feature, which I'll tell you right now, most machines don't have, then this is going to be a good option for you. Because you're going to be able to feel it in the handle and in your arm, okay? And that pulse, that sensation is going to, you know, be sort of like an audio signal for your nerves rather than your ears. Same idea. So that's a good feature to have. And the last feature is the backlight. And there are 5 brightnesses, 5 being the brightest, and 1 being the not brightest, and 0 being off. Now, there is an option to change the function of this backlight as well. Normal function, I believe, from the factory is that when you turn on the backlight, it stays on whatever setting you have it on. But if you press the up arrow and push the trigger away from you at the same time, it'll change that so that it only comes on when you have a signal. When the machine, notifies you that there's a target, the backlight comes on. Upon returning to standby mode, the backlight turns off. So there's that option there. So there you have the jam-packed features on the menu side of this Makro Racer. I will be doing more videos with this guy. Very impressed. Still learning it, still building confidence in it. Still trying to decide if I like it better than my Fisher. We've got a close race here, kids, so stay tuned. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And as always, swing, beep, dig.